before God on Sunday.
I wear a sweater vest to bed.
The lumberjack wears sweater vest to bed. Y'all heard it here first. And my question is, are you not before God in your pajamas at home? Are you not before God in driving to your job on Thursday morning, Going to the movies on Friday night? I mean, I almost think we've taken the clothes aspect to hide the insecurities or to hide whatever it is that it actually is going on the inside. And that's what the Pharisees did, if you think about it. And he woes them, basically curses them, or whatever you want to use there. We can go a little stronger term if our listeners would like. Go ahead and text in. But he, no.
Text.
I love it. But they lengthened their tassels on the bottom and they made their phylacteries big so that they could carry the scrolls around. They made them huge so people would see them. What were they actually doing? They were trying to make themselves look holy on the outside, but on the inside they were crap. I mean, they were a big pile of poopy. So I wonder if that's what we've done, is we've created almost a barrier to refuse to let people on the inside. Here's the barrier. You can't get past this barrier. Because past this barrier is my sin. Past this barrier is my weaknesses. And to be honest with you, I'm quite terrified for you to see that. When it should be, let me see that. Let me pray for you for that. Let me help keep you accountable. Let me text you this week to make sure you're staying on task. Let me love on you. Let me take you to coffee. Let me go buy you lunch. Let me buy you a donut at Rolling Pin. Let me in. Let me do this. And it's very difficult for us to do. So I don't know.
You get involved with other people, it's very messy.
Well, yeah, it's messy. I mean, my gosh.
Messy. And a lot of us don't take the time to do it.
Yeah, because we don't want the mess. We want the quick fix. Give me the quadratic equation and let me fix your problem. Let me get you on Dr. Phil. Let me give you some advice from him. And it's not so much that. We need to be involved in the mess. Jesus put himself in the mess. He put himself... Tornado's coming. Jesus put himself in Samaria. That was the mess for the Jews. Jesus put himself with the woman. Not only with the woman who was a Samaritan, but with the woman who had been divorced like 5 times. And the guy she's living with is not even... This sounds familiar. It's like something at the beginning of Coffee Talk or something. But Jesus put himself there. He was all about the mess. He put himself in the tax collector of Matthew, in front of him, at his booth. He put himself at the tax collector's house in Zacchaeus before Zacchaeus even became a believer. He put himself in the mess with the 10 lepers. Why is it that we are so afraid of the mess?
Forget about the good time he had in church. When he went to the temple.
Yeah, it started flipping tables.
They had their feet propped up on the pew.
They do leave some of the pigeons in the coolers too long.
Yeah, and we've almost. I think we've almost. No, we haven't almost. We have. We've taken a works-based approach to salvation. We haven't. It's the whole thing with the rich young ruler. He said, "What do I have to do to have eternal life?" And he gave him all these things, and he said, I've kept, what do I still like? Something else is still missing. And he told him what it was, and it came back to a heart issue.
I think he goes there thinking, that Jesus is going to bless the lady. Yep, you've done everything. You're great. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll see you in heaven. And I think he was astounded when he said, hold on there a little bit.
Yeah.
Or you look really nice, or you have a lot of money, or you probably got a good name, so you're good. But it's not that, and it's not that.
We've taken the works-based approach. we are at the first part of the rich and ruler when it really came down to the heart. And what we've missed is, in verse 25 and 26, when the disciples heard this, they were very astonished, saying, who then can be saved? And Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. It all comes back to God, and we've got to realize that that's what it's about. It's not about what we look like on Sunday morning. It's not even about what songs we sing on Sunday morning. It doesn't matter if it's pews or if it's chairs. It doesn't matter if you have stained glass or no stained glass. It doesn't matter if the carpet's blue, green, white, red. It doesn't matter if you have 10 guys over here wearing Budweiser shirts and 15 girls over here that work at Hooters. And they're in their work attire getting ready to leave. It's all about allowing God to do the miraculous, God to do the transforming, God to bring about sanctification and salvation. And it's all about loving on those people and letting them see something that they have never, ever, ever experienced. And that's where the rich young ruler was. He was ready for an experience, but totally missed out on it because the part of his heart was just totally sold on the one thing that was most important to him. And I think we have to ask ourselves, what's most important to us? When it comes down to it, what's most important to us? And that's it's not easy. I mean, it sounds easy, but it's extremely difficult to do because you've really got to push away the perception of how people are going to look at you.
The disciples do. To be a disciple, we're not going to get to choose the person to do. God's going to bless the person in their life. Depending on who that person is, I think the greatest opportunity for me, I'll speak for myself, is to pray to God to help me be a judgmental, so that judgment of that individual doesn't come between me being able to disciple that person and witness it.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the root of everything we talked about, the judgmental side. And the things that don't truly matter in this life. But we allow that to influence our decision.
Very much so. We allow personal preference, emotions, and our own attitudes to influence how we make decisions instead of looking at the greater good.
A lot of what we talked about on Sunday morning is, like the lyrics of Stained Glass Masquerade by Casting Crown, right? You've got, shiny plastic people in the pew there, they're playing the part. You put the wall up, put the defense up, right? Because nobody's showing their weakness.
That's something Dan said when we were in Mark about the one with the issue of blood. He said something I thought was just awesome. He said that as bad as her life was, she was blessed because everybody knew her problems and there was no shame in coming to get them fixed. I thought, man, that is so cool. If we could adopt that mentality in the church, it would change our faith. If we could say, okay, this is everything I've got wrong. And I hate it, but this is where I'm at. Now let's work on it to get it fixed. But we're as a faith, we're not there.
Yeah, but if you brought up a lot of the things that you have on the inside, you'd be condemned, not helped, not accepted.
Isn't that the truth?
That's what's wrong with the church today.
Be judged.
Yeah.
We just couldn't deal with it.
Pushed out of the church
Before you
But somebody
Be excommunicated.
Somebody's got to start.
somebody's got
So you start tomorrow morning, please.
talk about divorce, huh?
It's kind of like the. It's the.
I've really not been divorced. I don't know.
It's the first missionaries that go to the cannibalistic island and get eaten, right? You go to the island and
go
for them.
Go to the island and get eaten.
Lay a foundation.
But as funny as that is, it really does have to start somewhere.
It does.
It really does. And we have to be willing. We have to be willing to admit it. And there are guys who have admitted stuff to me that we still keep accountable today. I have to go around and say, so-and-so struggling with a porn addiction. So I keeping them accountable. You know, it's not about that. It's just
That's the
they come, they trust.
That's the rich young ruler. See what?
Yeah.
You know, everybody's telling me all this stuff.
Yeah.
That makes, you know.
Right.
I've seen guys get in front of the congregation and making issues like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out for them the way they thought.
But it
You know,
should have.
I know, but now that every time anybody looks at that guy, you know what they think about? They don't think about love and reconciliation. They think about you need more of that.
Yeah.
You know, when the guy making the comment probably looking at it too.
I know.
But he didn't get up there and say it.
You're probably right.
That a homosexual stand up in front of the church and talk about he was struggling with temptation because he found himself watching some young boys on the track team running down the road. He had to pull over. Stand up in front of the church and said that. Of course, we didn't have a sidebar after church. But guess what? That wasn't going to resolve any issue. Not in a public forum.
No, not in a public forum.
And too many times, with the best of intentions, and I got to get rid of this, and I get rid of that, then I'm ridiculed and persecuted and judged because I was honest instead of focusing on the help side of it, to help this person out.
I think though you have to be careful with that. I mean, even if I've got this big dream God's given me, I think I have to be careful who I tell that to. There's people that aren't going to understand that, and there are people that can deter that. And that's why they don't need to know about what that is. You know what I mean? And they're
The greatest place is saying like this, and I've always been a big believer in small mentality. You begin to build those trust and relationships. Because so many times we don't have it
right.
Yeah.
I think people are hungry for this.
They are hungry for this, and the public forum is definitely not the best place to start. But we should be living our lives in such a way that they can look at us and say, "I'm struggling with this. I can go. I know for a fact that I can go to him. It might take some time, but I can go to him." And
That's through our openness to communicate and having in our lives so that they do have that awareness. Hey, you do get yourself in the shape of it. That's different between a testimony and offering yourself to help someone in confession.
I think that's where a public forum is more, could be more where you can see that you're growing out of what so I've been talking with Harvey about this, I'm working on this, and this is how God's really pulled me out of it. That's when you come.
that's what a public testimony is good.
I've been working on this, we've been praying about this, and I'm really pulling out of it. So that's where a good public time is for that.
Not walking up in front of the church and saying, "I'm having trouble with fornication." I'm actually thinking about it right now. You know, it's not that. That's not the
But
Can somebody talk to me after?
here, let me put my. But I think the Bible tells you how to address sin in the church, and I think you had to probably handle that with the admission of it too. I don't know if that's biblical or not, but there should be that accountability. You shouldn't have the whole church keeping you accountable to.
No, you don't
can
need the
imagine
whole
what
church.
That,
No.
Could you imagine what that would be like? I mean,
I see the logic behind that though, because you're supposed to go with what is it? You're supposed to go with one other person that you trust and confront the person, and then if that doesn't happen, then you go to the elders, and then if that still doesn't, then it's the church, which I mean makes a ton of sense.
You heard about the guy who went down at the altar call and he told the pastor he was going to get up smoking, and the pastor was going to get up on the, at the pulpit, and he said, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to tell everybody you're giving up smoking." He said, "Well, don't do that, because then I really have to."
That's true. And before we're about to run out of time, here I'm going to give you a synopsis of chapter 2.3, or part 2.3 of Multiply. It's this. It's global missions. It doesn't stop and end with your community. It stops and ends with the world. So get off your butt and do missions and start witnessing to people and sharing Jesus Christ with them.
You'll be glad you did.
Yes. And this is OB Coffee Talk. Thanks for listening in, and be sure to check us out.